welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill for you on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York, out in the country. And you'll also find them at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, right by the Syracuse Hancock International Airport at Sweetheart Corner. I'm very happy to be back here with the Bearcat Breakroom. You know, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide is Bearcat Time exclusively here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with our partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. And I am picture in picture with more from the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer team. We had the head coach Neel Bhattacharjee on the show just a few weeks ago on the field together, and now I am picture in picture with Brooke Herber as well as Alex Marsteller of the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer team, coming off of their first game of the season, which was the season opener for 2024 and the opener on the road for the team, and it was a victory 3-2. So with that being said, Brooke and Alex, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I know I said it to you all off the air, but congratulations on opening the season with a victory on the road.
Thank you.
So, Alex, I want to start with you here in that game. What was it about the resolve of the team that you were able to, in such a close match, find a way to come back and not only come back in the match, but to do it on the road?
I think we did really well, kind of just playing together as a team. And I think even when the game was 3-2 and we kind of had a battle to keep the victory, we were all trying to do our best to make sure that we were with our game plan, playing with our game plan, and just making sure that we could hold the victory and play hard until those final minutes and just try to play our game as much as possible.
Yeah, and you talk about playing your game. How would you define who the Bearcats are this season? What is your game, so to speak, when we're talking about Binghamton women's soccer?
I think playing as a Binghamton women's soccer player, you're a gritty player. You like to play with confidence. We blue collar play. We're playing feet. We're being creative. We're going at players. We're defending as a whole. I think our team, we have a lot of girls that all bring a lot of talent to this team, and each player uniquely brings a lot of talent. And I think as one, that's kind of our identity, and each girl brings a lot to the table for us. And I think that's kind of what carries our whole team over, and that definitely carried into yesterday's game.
And Brooke, for you, how would you define, kind of going off of that, your sense of this Bearcats women's soccer team? What would be some words that would properly define the team in your opinion?
I would probably go off of what we all live by here at Binghamton. It would be like unity, our attitude, our mentality. Mainly all of our core values is what helps us get to where we want to go. And at the end of the day, we all live by those, and it gets us to the end of the season every single year. And these past 2 years, we've won the regular season title, and that's what keeps us going.
Yeah, and some people feel the pressure of that, but there's the other side of it. There's the we've won it, we know that we could do it, we know what it takes to get there. So how do you look at that in a positive sense, Brooke? You know you're going to get everyone's best game, especially in the America East. They're gunning for this team essentially because you've been at the top. How do you stay humble and how do you stay focused on not just resting on last season or the season before, but knowing that this is an all new season, and if you want to get back there, you can't just say, well, we done it before. You have to actually put the work in now again.
Since I've been here since my freshman year, we've known that we've had a big target on our back every year, every game. We have to battle for it. We can't go into a game thinking that we're going to win because everyone's coming to win and anyone can win on any given day. So as long as we all just work together, I think that's where we find our special moments, and we find our success from keeping each other humble and holding each other accountable. And I think our team has grown a strong enough connection to the point where we all understand that each and every person has a role, and if everyone does their role, then that's where we're going to find our success.
I not only love what you're talking about when it comes to this team, but how easily you're saying it, how real this is for you, because we talk about accountability and responsibility and family and working for each other, but you're saying that right off the bat here in a few minutes, like this is what we do. This is who we are. Alex, you spoke about keeping the lead when you were up 3-2 and just holding on to that. How did this team stay poised? How do you stay calm collectively? Not just one or two people, but how does the whole team stay poised in a situation like that, knowing that, you have to literally grab the lead and hold on to it? How does a team stay calm in a place like that?
I think just starting from everyone on the team, we all trust each other in our abilities and support one another. And I think feeding off of that and knowing that each person on this team plays an important role and everyone has each other's backs kind of just brought us all together in that game. And we all know that everyone's capable of doing what they do on the field. And I think having girls that have more of a voice on the field to be those leaders to bring us together and make sure we stay calm is very important. So we're not being as chaotic as kind of the game was, to kind of just calm ourselves down and know that we're in this place and this is where we belong. We are winning, and we need to just make sure we keep that lead and do what we practiced before the game and what we've been practicing all preseason. And this is where it put us in the game, and this is where we belong.
And Alex, when you're on the road, which is where you started off this season, and you're going to continue to be on the road for a little bit here, does it feel any different? We talk about it from the outside looking in. When you're broadcasting, we'll say obviously home is better than being on the road, but some teams feel that, some teams don't. Some teams are looking at this saying, hey, soccer. I'm not even hearing the people that are yelling at me in this road game. So Alex, you're a senior on this squad. Do you hear anything when you're on the road, or have you been able to almost just kind of muffle the noise out, whether you're home or on the road?
I feel like as I've been older and just as my last year here, I feel like I've kind of just been able to like let the noise kind of not bother me at all. And I feel like I don't hear it as much. And I think Neel has preached since we've been here that like we protect our home turf. So I think even just being at home kind of just puts a little more pressure on us to like we want to win at home, and that's what we do at home. So I think kind of playing on the road, it gives us like a little edge that like obviously we're not at home, so we want to beat the team that's at home and like come in and show them what we have and what we've been doing all season. So I think it kind of gives us a little spark. And obviously we have a bigger spark at home when we're protecting the home turf. But I think it doesn't, I don't know if it necessarily puts us much pressure, but we definitely want to win every game, whether it's home or away.
Brooke, for you as a junior, have you been able to kind of drown out the noise and slow down kind of the game for you? Do you feel like you hear any of it anymore? Because when you're in a press box and you hear the fans, so to speak, right? They some people I'm laughing because some people desperately want to be heard. I mean, they are screaming at the top of their lungs. They're going to lose their voice. They're going to go into work the next day, and everyone's going to be like, how come you can't speak? But do you even hear it? Does it even matter when you're out there?
I feel like going off of what Alex said, like being at home, it's what we protect, and being away, like you want to beat the team that has the home advantage. So I feel like as a junior, like since I'm an older classman now, I've learned to like block it out and kind of go along with what's going on in the game and like focus on that and focus on my teammates and what they're all there for and what we're all here for together. So I feel like I've just learned on my own and along with all of them that we've all grown to kind of branch out from it and keep it to all the things that we're all focused on together. So I think that's what we all build off of.
And not only winning that first game of the 2024 season, but it was against George Washington University. It was in our nation's capital. It's an election year, and before anybody's won the election, y'all won in Washington, D.C. So I think it's fair to say that Binghamton is the leader in the polls right now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So knowing that the next couple games coming up here on the schedule for the 2024 season, here speaking with Brooke and Alex of the Binghamton women's soccer team in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. even though the next two games are on the road, and we're going to see one of those this Thursday, August 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time at Canisius, and then on Sunday, August 25th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time against St. Bonaventure University. Albeit on the road, they're still in the state of New York, and a bunch of your games this season are going to be in the state of New York, even when they're on the road. When we look at a game against Lemoyne College out of conference, that's going to be in Syracuse, New York. Obviously, you have your games in Vestal. Later on in the season, you'll be at Albany. So just what it means to, have some of these games in the state of New York, a bunch of these games. And Brooke, I'll start with you. Does it feel like a rivalry? Do the New York games, whether they're in conference or out of conference, are they more amplified because these teams are not that far away from each other?
I'd say when we do play New York teams, our team gets very hype about it. We don't take them easy. Like when we play Syracuse, we play them every year. We play Albany every year. We've been playing Lemoyne since last year. So each of those games we take to another level. But when we get into conference, that's when everything really starts for us. And that's when everything gets 10 times more real. And we all know that those games are going to get us to where we want to be. We want to go to the tournament every single year, and that's what we strive for. And to prepare us for that, that's where the non-conference games come in. So not only are the New York games intense, but every other game counts as well.
Yeah, and looking at that non-conference, and Alex kind of going off of that, knowing that you're going to have, as I mentioned, Canisius and St. Bonaventure. You'll have Monmouth at home out of conference, at American out in Maryland out of conference, Syracuse, as been mentioned here, Wagner, which will be a home game, but another New York State-based team, Lemoyne up in Syracuse, before you get into America East play. When I'm naming off these schools, a bunch of them in the state of New York and all of them in the Northeast, what are your thoughts on the non-conference schedule and just kind of what you see when you see that road into the conference games that you're going to have after?
I think our coach does a good job of preparing us for the conference, and he does a good job of scheduling teams that, like a Syracuse, like a Monmouth, like Canisius, who we played last year, who we tied with and didn't necessarily get the result that we wanted. And then Wagner, who we've been playing, Lemoyne, I think. And then obviously we haven't played American yet, so that'll be a new one for us this year. But I think it definitely prepares us for conference play when it matters the most, basically like our second season to get into the tournament, which is our ultimate goal for the season. But I think each game matters in our process to get to our bigger goals. So I think any game is not taken lightly. And I think each game is a little bit in our process, as I said before, to kind of just build when we start conference play up at Maine in September.
Yeah, and you mentioned your coach a couple times here. Alex, I'm going to start with you. Tell me something good about Neel Bhattacharjee, your head coach. What is it about him that has helped you, assisted you, something nice that you'd like to say about your coach? I'm trying to prevent you from running at the next practice, so tell me something good about Coach.
Yeah, Coach Neel's awesome. He's a very good coach. He's definitely very knowledgeable of the game, and I think his knowledge is definitely translated onto the field with how he teaches us tactical, technical, all aspects of the game. And I think that's definitely carried us, and his mentality for the game is what is driven through our core values that we came up as a team. And I think that translates us into as players both on and off the field. And I think that's what makes our team so close-knit, and we all want to play for each other and we all want to win. And I think that starts from our coach and comes down through the team, which I think is a big part of our culture. And I think towards the end of the season, culture really matters. And I feel like that's kind of where teams either advance or maybe don't necessarily because of that culture. And I think he does a good job of doing that. So, yeah.
Great answer. I'm sure Neel's going to like it. Brooke, guess what? You have to top that. Tell me something about your head coach that sticks out to you.
I would say that Neel, one thing about him that I do love is that he's very blue-collared and he's gritty. And that's one thing that we hold as a team, and it's definitely something that all of us believe with, and that's what we go into every game doing. But he also designs all of our practices for us to work hard and get better, and every single time before we have a game, whether it's non-conference or conference, he says how hard we've been working and all the work that we've done. Like, he doesn't take take it away from us. Like he sees us working every single day to the best of our ability, and he wants us to show everyone what we've done this entire summer and what we've all done together. It wasn't just one person, it's the entire team. It's all about unity with him, which helps us connect so much more on and off the field. Along with our coach, Chris, he does a really good job keeping us connected. He checks in with people. He's a good technical coach. And Coach Taylor, she helps us a lot defensively. She used to play at Syracuse and then she went overseas. So she also knows what she's talking about. All three of them just help our team get better every single day.
Brooke found a way to top it by mentioning all the coaches. She wants to not run. So so for you, Brooke, I'm gonna keep with you on this. We're gonna keep on the tell me something good. Tell me something good about Alex.
Alex. I mean, Alex is an awesome person. She's kind. She's a great player. She's a great soccer player. She's a great person, and she's been leading the team since she was younger. She's been a starter since her freshman or sophomore year, and she's just been like adding on progress every single year. She helps anyone if they have a problem on or off the field. She's someone that you would look up to no matter what you're going through, and on the field, she keeps us in check and she keeps the midfield connected. We build out with her. She's our connection every single time, and she's a good way to get out on the field.
Yeah, and a lot of big words coming from Brooke there, Alex. Let's see what you got for Brooke. Tell me something good about Brooke.
Yeah, so I played one season without Brooke, but she came in and immediately stepped on the field, and it's been an honor playing with her so far. And I think her presence as a center back has been tremendous so far, and I think her vocal leadership has what's really carried us so far, even just the past 3 years she's been on the field. And I think that's something that we truly are very grateful for. And I think having her voice in the back line has been like a great thing for our defenders and even just our midfielders and forwards, because she kind of holds the back of the field together and kind of lifts everyone up. And she's also always there for everyone, supporting everyone, wants the best for everyone, and even both on and off the field, a great person, very funny, very friendly. And I think that's someone you want as a teammate. You definitely would want Brooke on your team for sure. And I think just even off the field and on the field, she's a great person to be around. And when it comes to game time, she's very much business. And I think as a center back and as a captain, she's done a tremendous job so far. And I love playing with her. So thanks, Al.
Honestly, it's like, okay, I mean, this is a recruiting video for everybody who wants to come to Binghamton. So, looking at, before we jump into rapid fire, where you guys get to put me on the hot seat, and we get to talk about a little bit of everything, music, movies, TV, whatever we want, food and whatnot. Before we go there, Alex, you're a midi, and playing in the midfield, I want to go back, kind of a two-parter here. When did you realize you love the game of soccer? Like, when did it really hit you like, this is my thing and I'm going to chase this thing and I'm going to catch it? So I'd love to know when that started for you, and if you always envisioned yourself as a midfielder or if it was kind of a road to get there.
So I grew up with an older cousin who was 4 years older than me, and she had always played soccer her entire life. She played Division III soccer at DeSales, which is near my hometown in Pennsylvania. So just growing up, I always went to all of her games, and my mom put me in soccer when I was really young. And just, I always looked up to my older cousin. She was like my hero growing up. So I think watching her succeed and her club teams over the years, and then playing in high school, she was an amazing high school soccer player, and then ended up going to play college soccer. So I think kind of just seeing how successful she was, that kind of inspired me to play soccer in college and just continue it throughout my younger years. So I think that's definitely one of the reasons. And she was an attacking center mid, and I started as an attacking center mid when I was played club when I was younger. And then when I switched clubs in high school, I actually ended up being put as a defensive center mid. So I was recruited as a defensive center mid. And I think I loved playing attacking center mid, but I think defensive center mid, although it's not necessarily as rewarding when you don't get as much assists or goals, but I think you get the gritty defensive part of it, and you get the behind the scenes stuff that I really like. And I feel like that's the type of person I am. I like to go behind the scenes and do the hard work and I don't necessarily need the recognition. And I think kind of just being a defensive center mid and kind of controlling the tempo of the game and connecting not necessarily like the defenders and the forwards, but kind of just being the center of the field where like we can connect the defenders, but then we can go to the attacking center mids and go to the forwards. And I can be with near the goalie if I need help and kind of just being all over the field to be as an option. But I think, yeah, my cousin definitely really inspired me and I've kind of just ran with it since. And ever since high school, I got super serious with it. And then ended up being recruited to come here and everything else been history. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Brooke, what's your story? What did it for you in the world of soccer? And, you speak on the defensive side and being a center back. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, so my whole family, so I'm a family of six, so I have three older siblings. And we were always a lacrosse family. So I started off with soccer and lacrosse, and then, my dad and my mom loved my brothers playing lacrosse. So I just decided I was like, I'm gonna put down the stick and I want to go my own way, find something else that I love
Yeah.
and be the odd one out. So once I figured that out, it was also really time consuming to do two sports at once. But I knew that once I figured that out, like soccer was the one for me, and I just went with it. So I played at Sousa in high school and I loved it. My team is what kept me going. Just the atmosphere itself, like that's where you find your best friends through soccer. That's where I found all of my best friends my entire life, and I've been friends with them forever. And yeah, and then I started going through the recruiting process, ended up committing to Binghamton, and then as a center back, and then I started my freshman year, which was a little nerve-wracking to start off right off the bat, but it was a big confidence thing for me, and I think for anyone that's in college, once you find your confidence in any position, that's where you start to roll and you start to find your momentum. But I think as a center back, you can't really have many off days. Like even anyone on the defensive side, you just can't make many mistakes because there's no one behind you. So it is a little bit more pressuring. And like what Alex said, you don't get really rewarded up front with being attached with any goals or anything like that, but you do get rewarded by all of your teammates realizing how hard you're working when you get the ball off the line or you slide tackle to block a shot, anything like that. Like all of your teammates know exactly what you're doing and you're doing it for them and you're doing it for the team. And I think that's what I really appreciate is that they recognize everything that I'm doing and it makes me closer to everyone and I appreciate everyone that realizes it.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic too. You both tell your story here and you talk about, not necessarily getting as much reward or as much as the love, but you're both captains. Your team co-captains this season for 2024 for the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer program as we speak with Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Brooke, to be named a captain of this team, all that work you put in, you said playing as a true freshman, going out there as a center back, little nerve-wracking, but also helped you build your confidence. Now you're a captain. Just what that means to you and how you define leadership.
I really appreciate that my coaches and my teammates believed in me enough to be the captain as a junior. And I really appreciate all of them for looking up to me like that. But I like holding the pressure of being able to have everyone look up to me as a leader or anyone needs me on or off the field. They know that they can come to me about anything. And I think it's good because I can hold people accountable whether I have that title or not. Anyone on our team can, but having the title itself, it gives me a sort of momentum knowing that they all believe in me and they trust me and that I can go along with this and anyone on the team, like we can all lead it together. And it gives me some leadership and something to look forward to every single game, whether someone else needs something on or off the field, they know that they can come to me if they need to.
Yeah. And I mean, that's huge. To be a source of service to other people is extremely important in that leadership role. Alex, for you as a co-captain this season, just what that means to you to rise into a role in college, to become a captain and to be a leader and just how you would define that.
Yeah, I think going along with Brooks said, like I think it's been an honor for the girls and the coaches to believe in us to be the leaders of this team and be the captains. And I think just being a freshman to now a senior and seeing all the girls that have led this team before and learning so much from them has been a great help too, and just seeing how they led the team. And I think just having Brooke also, like, she's very vocal on the field, and I'm more, I feel like, leading by example. And I think we both balance each other out and bring out the best in each other. And I think we're both very committed. And I think having the girls' backs, we are always supporting them. We want what's best for them. And I think just making sure that we're all respecting each other and we unite with one another. And I think just trying to make sure our culture is as good as possible will make the best success on the field. And I think we've done a good job so far of doing that and hope to continue that for the rest of the season.
Final note before we jump into rapid fire for you both. Alex, you first. You committed to Binghamton. You said yes. If you had the choice all over again, would you say yes to Binghamton?
I think so, yes. I had a really good time. I came here in an overnight my junior year with some of the girls that were, when I was a freshman, they were juniors. And I think that kind of really made me want to come here. They were super welcoming. I was with some of the other girls that are in my class now, which were very friendly. And I think they kind of showed me what being a Binghamton women's soccer player is. And I think that's kind of what ultimately made my decision so much easier. And the coaching staff was also great, and they were very interested in me. So I think that was good. And it's only 2 hours from home, and I didn't want to go too far away. So I feel like it was the perfect spot where I could go home when I wanted to, but it's also like I'm enough away from my parents, but they can come to almost every game, whether it's home or away. And they've done a good job of that. And I really appreciate all the support they've had. So I think that was a big part, being close enough to home where my parents were always able to come to the games. But the assistant coaches that are here now weren't here when I was recruited, but I've enjoyed all the assistant coaches that I've had so far. Coach Pack, and then Coach Chris and Taylor and Shawnee, who have all been here since I've been here, and everyone's taught me a lot about this. And I'm very excited and happy of the decision that I made when I was a junior, and I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah, hailing from Brenningsville, Pennsylvania, not too far away, like you said, a couple hours. Brooke, for you, if you had the choice all over again, would you be a Bearcat?
No doubt, I definitely would. In the recruiting process, you're not really sure where you want to go at first, but for me, it was the distance for sure, and the coaches and the team itself. Like, I'm from Smithtown, New York on Long Island.
Yeah.
And so that's about like a 4 hour drive. So same with Alex, my parents can come to almost every home game that they're able to. And a big part of it was I loved the coaches. They were great in the recruiting process, and I felt like I could trust them, and they had confidence in me even from the start when we first started talking. And I knew Pac, she coached me. I unfortunately didn't meet Shawnee, but you can never go in just going in for the coaches because they changed when I was a sophomore and a freshman. So now we have Chris, Taylor, and Neil, but it worked out for the greater because we love them and they're great coaches, and I'm so glad that they're here. And I'm glad that I picked this school because it's a great academic school as well. So you're going to get a great degree from a great school. And our team has been doing amazing ever since we came in. We've all bonded great. We have a great connection on and off the field, so I wouldn't change anything.
I love that, and I can appreciate that, and it's good to hear because we only go around this thing called life one time. So, and I have questions getting to know you in this conversation. Definitely have questions in rapid fire, but y'all get to put me on the hot seat first. So we are in the Bearcat Breakroom once again here every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Worldwide is Bearcat Time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. I'm here with Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller of the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer program. We're going into rapid fire, and Brooke, you get to ask me the first question, and it can be literally anything in the world.
Okay. What do you do with your free time?
Oh man, with that 1 hour, I sleep. No, but I would say, what do I do in my free time? I like collecting cards. I've always been a sports card collector. I love watching movies. I love walking my dog. I love going for walks myself, listening to music. I've been singing my whole life, so I like to sing. And I really just call my friends, call my family. Every single day, pretty much, talk to my mom and my dad and try to keep in touch with my friends, joke around, and just, be very purposeful with my time. I could always be better, but I think the biggest thing for me is to appreciate my blessings. And I really live simply in the sense of like a movie, laying with my dog in bed, watching, Big Brother, just kind of hanging out and stuff like that is the stuff that means a lot to me. So
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Havanese. So
Cool.
she's a little Cuban dog. She's like 9 pounds. I'm trying to see here. I got a picture of her that I could pull up so you guys could see her. But this is Lily.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, that's the girl. So, all right, Brooke, back to you. Something that you said that I learned a few years ago, which is you are not in Long Island. You are on Long Island, which is what you had said. I spent some time on Long Island and recently Jones Beach, as well as I was around the Stony Brook area. Found some good
Yep.
places in North Babylon. Found a good place to get some bagels and a good place to get some pizza. I have to ask you, Brooke, it's a two-parter. Where's the best place to get bagels on Long Island, and what do you get?
Oh boy. Okay, well, I live in Smithtown. I live in St. James.
Yeah.
So usually I would go to St. James Bagels if I want a fresh bagel, and then I just get it with either regular cream cheese or vegetable cream cheese. But if I am going to get a breakfast sandwich, I would go to Strathmore's in Stony Brook because they do a whole platter. So I would get like a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel or a sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel, maybe like an everything bagel. And then they do a whole platter with hash browns, and then like you put salt and pepper on it. It's awesome. It's the best place you can find it.
I'm forgetting the name of the place that I went to, but I know it was kind of like by itself, bland on the outside, just kind of like a white building. It was in North Babylon. I think it started with an S, but I love egg bagels, which you can't really find up at Syracuse. And then I realized something. Well, I shouldn't say I realized, I never knew. And I walked in and I go, wait a minute. There's everything. There's egg everything. Like they had a baby, they had a kid together. So like the egg everything bagel is what I get. And I always get the honey walnut or cinnamon walnut, whatever walnut cream cheese. It's got the walnut and the raisin in it. It's my go-to all the time. It's fantastic. The bagels smell so good. Like you literally, before I eat it, I have to like smell. I have to breathe in the bagel and just
Yeah.
remember that smell until the next time I get to go there. So,
hmm
all right, Alex, what's your first question for me?
Um, I know you're interviewing us with soccer, but do you have any other sports teams or just sports you like to watch? I'm a big Phillies fan and Eagles fan, and I grew up an Eagles sports or a Phillies sports fan, so I was curious.
Well, I think it's funny that you say that because this past weekend I was in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And so I was in Philly for the Fishtown Card Show. It's at Rivers Casino. And we go out there and I use it to network, meet people, promote the show, promote what I do, and also to sell, buy, trade cards, all that good stuff. And Brett over at Fishtown's great. So I had a great time, but there was two things I wanted to do. I told my buddy Brendan, I said, these are the things I want to do. If you say no, I'm going to jump out of the car on the highway and I'm going to go do them anyways. So I wanted to run the Rocky Steps and I wanted
Okay.
to get an actual Philly cheesesteak. So I heard of a bunch of good places to go to. I'm going to ask you the question, so don't answer it yet. We went to Max's because it was on the way. That was not the one I was told to go to. There was two that were reoccurring on where to go. But running the Rocky Steps, I wanted to get it on video because it's meant a lot to me and is inspirational. So I ran up the steps. Brendan ran up the steps at the same time, and then I didn't like the video. So I went down the steps and I ran them again just so we could get it on video. So I ran them twice. But you mentioned being a Phillies fan and an Eagles fan. My teams are all over the place. I am
Okay.
a Diamondbacks fan for baseball. I am a Toronto Raptor fan for the NBA. I am for college football, Syracuse, my hometown. MLS, I am a Charlotte FC fan.
Okay.
And with the NWSL, I'm like, I want to say I'm like coming down to 3 or 4 teams, and I'm trying to narrow like who's going to be my team, because there's really just like, honestly, it's like the name and the thing that kind of brings me in. Like Charlotte FC, I love Charlotte. I love the city. I love the Queen City. We've expanded down there with Wake Up Call and Super Powered Pop, my entertainment show, to work with businesses in Charlotte or just outside of Charlotte or in the state of North Carolina. So what am I missing here? Oh, and NFL, Jacksonville, Jaguars. And yeah, so I'm kind of all over the place. NHL or the Anaheim Ducks. But my buddy is a massive Danny Tome, huge Phillies fan, the owner of the Wildcat. Awesome place here in Camillus, New York, right by Syracuse, by the state fairgrounds, actually. And so when the Phillies and the Diamondbacks play each other, I, out of respect for him, will not wear Diamondback gear. I wear it everywhere. But I'm going to tell you something, Alex. Philly's great. If you're on the other side of their teams, they are the city of brotherly hate. And I did not. I did not wear
I'm sure.
any of my Diamondback stuff during the Fishtown card show because I wanted to sell cards. I didn't want to piss off people in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, you get that one a lot. Don't wear the other team or you're gonna get some words said to you.
So you said you're a Philadelphia everything.
Mainly watch football and baseball. I'm not a huge NBA fan. I'll occasionally watch it, but mainly Phillies and Eagles are my two main teams.
Okay, so I got a two-parter for you for Philadelphia. Which team will win a championship? The next team to win a championship between the two, who will get there first, the Eagles or the Phillies? And my second part to that question is, where do I go for a cheesesteak?
Okay, so for the first question, I would say the Phillies.
Okay.
Although they've been close for the last 2 years, and I think last year was extremely disappointing, especially losing to the Diamondbacks. I I think the Eagles are going to be very good this year. I think also again last year was extremely disappointing towards the end of the season. And not having Jason Kelsey there is going to be very weird. But I think Cam Jurgens will step up as a center, and then they're going to get a new offensive lineman, which I think will be good. And I honestly have never gotten a cheesesteak in Philly because I'm not a huge cheesesteak person, but I think it's called Pat's, I want to say. I could be wrong, but a lot of my family members get cheesesteaks when they go to some of the games.
Okay.
I think there's another really good spot that I can't think of right now, but I don't know if you've ever had the Chicky and Pete's French fries before.
Okay. No, I have not.
They're like crab fries. There's some restaurants in Philly, and then they sell them at the venues like the Philly Stadium, the Eagles Stadium, and then I think in Wells Fargo Center. Those are really good.
Fair enough. I like it. I did get a cheesesteak. I've been told Angelo's and Ishkabibbles, the ones that are like the tourist ones, Pat and Gino's, are the two that kind of
Gino's,
combat
that's what I
each
was
other.
thinking of.
Yeah. So we're going to go back around one more time. Alex, you get to start this one. What's your question?
If you had to go one place across or not in the United States, where would you go? That you haven't been.
That I haven't been. So I normally say Italy and Spain, but I'm going to change it up since it's what I normally say because I want to see my family. I would go to... Where would I go? I'd probably go to, like... I want to say like maybe Switzerland or something like that. Switzerland or like Sweden, like somewhere where maybe Switzerland because it's supposed to be peaceful. Maybe I could go skiing somewhere, just kind of get away from everything. And I would maybe try to change it up and do something like that and go off the grid. Because it's funny. It's like people are like, you own your own business and you do all this stuff on the internet and you got your phone with you and you could do so many things from your phone. But the people that know me know that I would absolutely love to leave my phone in the hotel and go skiing somewhere or go on a beach somewhere or just like get away. Just like kind of be with the people that I'm with and physically enjoy the moment and not like take shot pictures of it and this and that. Just be there with whoever's with me and snapshot those memories in my head. So that's what I would say. All right, Alex, back to you. What's one food you cannot live without? And secondly, what's one thing in a grocery store that you will never buy?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I guess, I would like a food group or a specific food.
Anything. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. That's a good question. I'd say I'd probably go with strawberries.
Okay.
I'm a really big fruit girl, and I love having fruit, basically any fruit I like, other than cantaloupe, which is kind of random. But yeah, I would say any type of fruit, but I really like strawberries, and I have them almost every single day, or any type of berry.
Okay. What would you
Uh,
not buy?
One thing that I would not buy
Yeah.
would either be tuna fish in a can or anchovies. And I say anchovies because my grandpa, when I was younger, would always order an anchovy pizza. My grandparents live right next to a pizza shop, and he would always order his own personal anchovy pizza, and he would be the only one that ate it. And I used to think that they were the most disgusting thing ever. So that's something I would definitely not have. And I never have tried it, and I never plan to.
It's funny you say that because as a kid, whenever someone was like, what would you never put on pizza? You would always say anchovies, but I never saw anybody actually physically put them on
Yeah.
pizza. So your grandfather is the first person I've heard in my lifetime that actually did it in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, I never knew what they were at first. And then I actually found out what it was, and I was like, I can't believe he always did that.
Yeah, shout out to Grandpa. What's Grandpa's first name?
Richard.
So, Richard, you are a one of one, is what I will say. Brooke, what is your final question for me?
Mm, if you had one movie to watch for a straight month,
Hmm.
what would it be?
If I had one movie, I'm a movie guy, so I love movies. And I love screenwriting too. Like, I love creating my own stuff. So, if there's one I had to watch for a month, I go through like a period of time where there's a movie I will watch like on repeat. I'm,
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of one I would watch right now in this moment. Probably, probably because I think that him and I both have what I call running stream of consciousness, where we just say a bunch of things that you don't really think are connected, and then we find a way to connect them, and you laugh with us along the journey, and that would be Vince Vaughn. So I'd probably say Wedding Crashers.
That's a good one. That's a good choice. That
Okay.
movie's good. It's funny.
Yeah, that whole like first part about like the blind date and what do you do on a blind date. I definitely feel like his thoughts and I are similar. My last my last question for you, Brooke, is okay. There we go. So you can designate yourself with a superpower, and you can give one to Alex. What superpower do you take? What superpower do you give to Alex? And what city in the world do you choose to protect?
Oh, wow.
Oh boy. Well, I would obviously go to protect New York City.
Okay.
Um, Superpower.
Hmm.
I feel like Alex would love to fly. I feel like she'd love that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Like, I feel like it would have to be, jeez. Like flying would be insane, but if I would like be able to time travel, that'd be cool.
Okay.
So I might have to go with time travel. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
I feel like are you being like invisible?
Yeah, I was thinking invisible too, but then no one can talk to me.
Well, you can go in and out of being invisible.
True.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's good.
I like it. That's some good stuff there. Invisibility, time travel, flying, protecting New York City. Interesting picks here, and an interesting conversation about this awesome women's soccer team at Binghamton University. Folks, you got to know Brooke and Alex. You can get to know the entire team by going out and supporting them on the road and at home. They're going to be on the road for the next two at Canisius and at St. Bonnie's, as I mentioned, and you will see them in their first game back at home at Binghamton University in Vestal, New York on August 29th, a Thursday at 4 p.m. against Monmouth University. For Brooke as well as for Alex, it has been my absolute pleasure. Once again, Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller here with me on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Ladies, thank you for your time today. Thank you for your answers. And it's been really cool to see how much you both care about each other, how genuine that is, and how much you care about the team. I would challenge anybody watching and listening to not support this team. So definitely go out there and support your Bearcats. And we know that no matter what, down the road, these two soccer players will be supporting and protecting the world with their superpowers. So do it on the field, do it off the field. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. We loved it. We enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Of course, my pleasure.